So guys, this is an interesting one because I'm doing another anime review here, but for this one I'm doing the original Fullmetal Alchemist series. I've already talked about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood so many times on here, but recently I was finally able to get the original Fullmetal Alchemist show from 2003 on Blu-ray and I watched it. I also recently got the two Fullmetal Alchemist movies. The first one is from the original anime timeline and is what finished the story, and the second is a normal offshoot anime movie like a lot of other ones based on Brotherhood continuity. I've been trying to get the original Fullmetal Alchemist series for a while, considering how much I love the Fullmetal Alchemist franchise, and I knew that after they ran out of manga material, they went off and did their own thing. But when I started watching it, that wasn't really true. Even in the first few episodes that were the most faithful to the manga, there's a lot of weird changes in it. In fact, that's probably the best way to describe this, weird. There's just a lot of things in this that are so strange and bizarre. I'm not saying this show is bad, it's just weird with how the story is told and what they do in the early and what they do in the early episodes. So let's get into it, and like always, this will have all the spoilers for the series and the movie that's finished. So if you don't want anything spoiled, don't watch it, then come back and watch this. So the beginning of the series starts off pretty similarly to the manga, where it shows Ed and Al after their failed human transmutation, then skipping ahead a few years after Ed becomes the alchemist, going to New York to investigate the whole thing with Cornello and finding Rose there. The first episode mostly follows the first part of the manga there, except for some weird changes, like how they kinda spoiled the whole reveal of Al being being a suit of armor before it should have happened, with the set opening up in the desert and Cornello using a bunch of birds to make humanoid birds, to make some kind of humanoid shape to trick Rose into thinking it's her boyfriend who died, and luck coming to meet Cornello in one instant by coming through some big Ouroboros mark above him, and so on. Again, it just makes me wonder why this much was changed in just the first episode, but it's not even the weirdest part, because after the first two episodes that tell the Leor story, which is already strange because I don't think it needed to be two episodes to tell that story. We get a filler episode where Ed and Al have to stop some guy named Mario from taking the souls of girls in his town to bring back some woman he loved. Just the way this episode is told is really weird, with just how it's paced and how it kind of goes through everything really quickly, and the way the events happen just shows that more. But I think the weirdest part of the early episodes is that a lot of them are showing the events of the manga happening in the past. The whole thing in Leor happens as normal in terms of the timeline, but then the whole thing with Tucker and Nina, along with Ed and Al, been the train hijacking, happens in a flashback around the time Ed was getting ready for his alchemist exam, and he and Al were staying with Tucker and Nina while studying for it, and they develop more of a relationship with Nina because of how long they've been with her. I guess it's nice that they develop more of a relationship with her, but it's also kind of strange with how they held the story of their time with them. Especially since in this version, it's actually Racia who, as in Susie's wife, who's pregnant, and they do the whole baby delivering thing with her and Alicia instead of the whole story in Rust Valley. Yeah, we'll get to that part later. So, in these early episodes, they spend a lot of time with moments and characters that weren't that important in the manga, especially in regard to Boss Blonde, as in the Iron Blood Alchemist. In the manga and Brotherhood, he's just some random alchemist that Star pills, as in we only just see him for about a minute and then he dies. Here, however, he played a significant role for a while, and while I kind of get that they knew they were going to be doing what they wanted, so they figured they could explore characters who don't get a lot of time in the manga. The problem I have is that I think that character is in this way too much. He's a big part in the early episode, and I think he's in this for too long. Also, here they decide to show Barry the Chopper to be a person that Ed actually fights, and then he's arrested, and it's around here Ed for his star as he doesn't know who he is and they don't fight. So yeah, the fact that Barry is a person in that before he put into the armory odd. Though I will admit, I like how Ed is terrified to face him, as he should be considering this is him fighting for his life for the first time, and afterwards and even during the fight he had such severe trauma, and I like how the series sort of adds more things to Ed, of him seeing so much horrible things that traumatize him over and over. It was done well in Brotherhood too, but I like it here too because since we see him do things we don't see him do in the manga or Brotherhood. Though, and I guess this is, yes, this is also a point against about Brotherhood as well, but I like how they do the usual story here, since we never covered that in Brotherhood, but that's also then slightly different here than in the manga, so that kind of made me wonder why they didn't cover it in Brotherhood, since it wasn't fully faithful to the way it was done in the manga here either. So the fact that they did it like this here makes its absence in Brotherhood even stranger. I also feel like this series kinda holds on some things a bit longer than really necessary, like the whole part when they go to Rust Valley. Speaking of which, let's talk about that, because in my opinion, the whole segment in Rust Valley in Brotherhood and in the manga is one of the best moments and one of the most entertaining moments in the whole story. Here, however, it's kind of weird because they have Winry get mad at Ed for using alchemy to win the arm wrestling segment, and they do it in a way that kind of makes her a bit unlikable for a little bit. And this was something that was only used as a joke in the manga, and they only joked on it for a few seconds. But then she meets Peninia, and she's the one who suggests that she you as why. Again, obviously just making Winry seem kinda unlikely, and basically hey, and yeah, this takes up a substantial amount of the episode. We never get to meet the family that Peninsula is staying with, like the pregnant woman, and like the pregnant woman aside from Mr. Dominic. And again, but that was one of the most entertaining moments in the manga and Brotherhood, but it's not here, and I feel like it goes on for so long. Speaking of Winry, there's another really insane change added here, because in this version it shows that Mustang was actually the one who killed her parents after he was ordered to by his superiors, and it left him traumatized and depressed. I don't really like that change at all. Even if Mustang was ordered to do it, I don't like that he actually did it, because you're being the one to do it, what in the real story was a big part of both his character arc and Winry. So having it done like this was so weird, and it didn't fit well into the series for me at all. After this moment, this is where they start going off and doing their own thing. I mean, the whole series was pretty much all Studio Bone series, but it's that this is that moment they stop doing anything that's an adaptation from a manga and just start making up everything themselves. Because we've been Izumi after this like they should, but then she brings them to the island they were when they were younger, and there they meet a small boy who can use alchemy to apply a substance to his own body, and it's about this point the writing for the new plot the characters were crafted really begin to show more. Sure, you could obviously notice it before, but this part of the series, when it's beyond undeniable that this stuff wasn't in the manga, and this plot point is really important for the series. One, they show that his right arm and left leg are actually edge limbs from when he lost them during the human transmutation. And two, here we learn a lot of other new information, like how homunculi in this version are actually created from a person who tries to use human transmutation, and they're made from the remains of the person they try to create. Not only that, but they also show that whenever a homunculus gets close to the remains of the person they were supposed to be, or at the very least the person they were being transmuted as they weaken. And again, it becomes super important, and there's a whole bunch of information being shown at once that was pretty nuts trying to keep track of it all. And I don't mean that as a bad thing necessarily. When you really just realize that this is just the kind of thing that this is how the series is going to be, and you just kind of accept that. There are things here that are pretty enjoyable. I really like in a show, especially in an anime where you can sort of put things together with the characters and come to understand more about how the world works. But this all leads to the reveal that the main villain in this series is a lady named Dante, who was actually Hohenheim's lover originally, and they became immortal by transferring their souls into other people's bodies until Hohenheim became guilty by just became guilty for sacrificing other people to achieve it. But Dante wanted to keep going, and she's been using the homunculi to do this. And I really miss him, but I actually do think this series does better than Brotherhood, and the manga is making its villains more sympathetic. In Brotherhood, some of them were just bad, even though were just bad guys, and even though I really loved that about them with how they were written, they do manage to make them more sympathetic here. The number one example I can think of is Luck. Here is shown that Luck was created by Yari's brother trying to bring back a woman that he loved, and she's remembering more about her past life. And not only that, but she actually becomes an ally later on when she helps Ed after she realizes more about her past. Also, speaking of villains, this series also rearranges the names of the homunculi, and because that boy that Ed and Al found is actually this series' version of Wrath, and Sloth is actually a woman who is acting as Bradley's assistant. Not only that, but Sloth was created when Ed and Al tried to bring back their mother, Tricia. Wrath is also the product of when Izumi tried to bring back her dead baby, and that's why she clings to him so much. And it's pretty sad seeing her trying to get through to him and treat him like a son, only for Envy and the others to make things worse. And a good point of when a lot of things come to fruition is when Ed and Al sort of team up with Yar earlier, but then Al meets Yar again, and they fight Himbley with lead to Himbley's death, and Yar also uses Al as the center for a philosopher stone he's trying to make with a whole bunch of soldiers that he likes to lure, and we even see that Yar dies in this version by sacrificing himself to make the stone, and then the philosopher's stone is literally inside of Al's armor. Again, it's really, really weird, but it's all kind of cool to see that happen. This is also after Rose and the rest of the people of Leora left, and she's sort of seen as like a holy woman, but Rose is also being used by Dante because she's hoping to use her as the next person to transfer her soul into. She's also hoping to use the Philosopher's Stone inside Al's body to make that happen. And this begins a really long but really cool climax where Mustang goes to kill Bradley, who in this version is Pride, and he manages to kill him by showing off the soul of the person he was supposed to be transmuting into. And yeah, it's pretty tragic when Salim is killed. But anyway, John has Al kidnapped and tries to use the Philosopher's Stone he has, but then Ed finds them in a city underneath Central and sees Rose there, who's under some kind of trance or something. But then, and this is where another super weird moment happens. There's some kind of other world inside the gate, and Ed is sent through it, but his body is inside the gate, and his soul is placed inside the body of that world's version of himself. And he also meets Hohenheim there, who Dante put there. Again, really insane stuff happened here. And well, I guess it kind of hello, it's just so weird and so not what this series should really be. As someone who's a massive fan of this franchise and just seeing this happen, it's just so weird and it's just so not what this series should be. I guess in terms of how the writer created this version of the series, it does work, I suppose, but it still just so strange. Not to mention the fact that the other edit stuck inside the regular version body, which is still inside the gate, and after Ed talked to Hohenheim, Ed has been killed and brought back to his world in his own body, which means the other version of Ed died. I'm honestly really surprised I could follow this as well as I could, because I would have thought I'd get confused by this kind of stuff really quickly. Anyway, after going back to his world, Ed then begins to fight Envy, and this might actually be my favorite part of the series. I think this fight with the two of them is really cool. It's really short, but it's really intense, and it actually ends with Ed himself actually dying. No joke. Envy actually manages to kill him. What? Again, it's a really gut-wrenching moment, and it's really intense and just establish how bloodthirsty these guys are. But then Al is able to use the Philosopher's Stone to bring Ed back, and we see the homunculi leave in different ways. Envy goes through the gate to find Hohenheim because she wants to kill him. Ralph runs off, and Gluttony kills Dante after she used him earlier. Also earlier, Ed killed Reed and Cloth, and Ralph killed Lord. This is actually what Ralph was trying to do after a while. He sort of believed that Cloth was his mother, and so he wanted to be with her despite that not being true. So after Al brings Ed back, she sends inside the gate, and Ed decides to sacrifice himself by sending himself to the other world in exchange for Al to be brought back. He also manages to get Al's body back, but Al's memory and of a lot of what happened is gone. He does remember Ed being his brother, and so he decides to try to find a way to get him back, but Ed is sort of taking over the life of that other world version of Ed, and he's living in that world version of Germany, and he's also trying to find a way to get back as well. And that part right there is when the series itself ends, and then that leads into the movie called The Conqueror of Shambhala. I'm gonna talk about that too, but for now I'll just talk about the series. Overall, this series itself was so weird. I do applaud the crew for being able to take the material they had at the time and making something out of it, and being able to create their own world and series out of it too. And like I said, I actually do think there are some things that this does better than the manga and Brotherhood, but overall this was just such a weird series. Like I said, the early episodes were done in a weird way, not just the filler, but just the episodes that were canon were done in such a weird way, which again made the fact that they were absent from Brotherhood even more bizarre. And I don't know, but quality of the story felt like it was up and down for me a lot of the time. I liked when the story was moving in a way that felt smart and really felt, and and felt like a real story that was being revealed, like being shown at us all the time. But then sometimes I felt like it got on things too long in terms of the story itself and the characters, like that Bot Ron guy I mentioned. And I probably should have mentioned it earlier, but they also bring back old characters in weird ways, like Tucker. In this version, after she's supposedly killed, it reveals she's still alive and is part of a chimera, and she's trying to bring Nina back to life. She does pop up once in a while and sort of helps in different ways, but it's still odd. And in general, I don't know, I was mostly just puzzled by how different this series was from the manga and just how much they changed the rules of the world. I will also say that there's elements here that are really interesting. Like I said, I like how they develop some other characters. They develop some other characters like Lux. They actually make her more into a real character here and not just an evil villain. Again, I like that about her I like her in the manga and Brotherhood, but it was nice to see her have more of a character here. But at the same time, there were characters I didn't like Dante, for example. I don't know, I just didn't like the writing for her character. Something about her just didn't sit right with me. She felt like a weaker version of Father. They felt kind of similar in a sense, and she actually felt like a mix between Father and Orochimaru. I think she's trying to achieve immortality by transferring her soul into other people's bodies and so on. The series also made me miss the characters who weren't going to be in the series, like Lin, Mei, Lanfang, and so on. And yeah, there's some other characters like that. If you've seen Brotherhood before this, like me, then it's hard to not notice their absence. So I guess with that quick analysis out of the way, I'll get started talking about the Conqueror of Shambhala movie next. The film picks up more or less around the time the series ends. Ed is still working on ways to get himself back to a world, but he doesn't have it alchemy anymore, and he owes some dragon or something back some filmmaker who resembles Bradley wants to hunt down, and it turns out to be Envy, and Ed also finds Hohenheim there, who's killed by some dragon who wants to get to Ed's world and destroy it. I actually saw this before I got started on the series because I got both the Fullmetal Alchemist movies before I got the series, and I saw them first before the show itself. And I remember thinking that this was really strange, and I attributed that to the fact that I hadn't seen the show yet. And so it felt real weird to see the series at the end without seeing the series beforehand. And I thought if I saw the show first, I'd guess it, but regardless, this film is still pretty weird given how it's following the continuity of the show. Also, the lady I mentioned is obviously the villain of the movie, and she kind of has the same problem I had with Dante. I didn't like the writing for her character. She just seems like a crazy villain and not much else. I do think there's some cool ideas, like when Ed goes back to his world by going for the portal that the lady was trying to make, and there's a big climax there at the end that ends with Ed and Al teaming up to fight her, and then Ed decides to bring back the soldiers that came back to their world, and then Al shows that he came with him by jumping into an armor one of the guys was wearing, and this is all the part where Raph died. He sacrifices himself to help Al open a portal to get Ed back. But yeah, again, it just kind of seems strange with how this world was being presented. I remember thinking that once I got the series, this would make sense, and I guess technically it did, but yeah, it made sense in the world that was presented, and so yeah, but even it was still kind of weird to me. So yeah, the movie, and I guess technically the whole series ends with Ed and Al in the other world, and now they're kind of living their lives there from now on. So overall, I guess I can say I'm at least happy I finally finished the series. I remember talking about how I really wanted to see this series at some point a few years ago on my blog, and it just left me feeling kind of baffled with how different this story was to the real one. And weirdly enough, watching it actually made me appreciate Brotherhood more. I realize how mean that probably sounds, but yeah, whether or not I can say I really enjoy this, or it's kind of hard for me to say. I guess I do acknowledge that this really good, but considering how humongous of a fan I am of the manga and Brotherhood, especially since they're both probably my favorite anime and manga of all time, it was just really peculiar with how different everything in this was. I also do know that Hiromu Arakawa herself said that she was pleased that the crew were able to do something with what they had, and they were able to make their own story and world with it. And like I said, I do applaud them for being able to do that too, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I just prefer Brotherhood and the manga story a lot more. But there'll be clearly something that's absolutely fantastic, though. Vic Mignogna is, of course, still the perfect choice for Edward, and Aaron DeMute did a fantastic job as Alphonse, though, and I guess this is just because I've seen Brotherhood so many times. I personally prefer Maxie Whitehead's performance. I just feel like her voice fits Al's character a bit more, but Aaron DeMute still does an amazing job, especially since he was only 12 when he had to start his voice, and which is really, really impressive. And I guess the last thing I can say is that I'm glad I finally watched the show, and I do think it's good, especially the last few episodes that had some really cool reveals and action scenes, but I don't think I would ever want to watch this again, but I am happy to be adding it and the two Fullmetal Alchemist movies to my anime and manga collection. So I realize it was probably kind of harsh on this series unnecessarily, because I do get when people say that this is good, and I guess I do agree with them, but both are really just my overall thoughts on the series. I guess guys, that was pretty much my review of Fullmetal Alchemist. I guess if you're a fan of Fullmetal Alchemist as a whole, I guess I would recommend checking this out if you haven't. So like I just said, that was my review for Fullmetal Alchemist. So as per usual, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, then please like this video. Please comment down below to tell me what you think. Please follow me on Twitter at Daniel Maloney, and Disney, fan writer, Kingdom Hearts and Disney, please every day, and please subscribe for more videos like this coming soon, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.